Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. Last episode, we got done connecting every city up to a passenger connection. So right now, we have two separate systems, but eventually we will end up connecting them at some point. We're not going to do that this episode though, as we're going to go through and check up on our lines, see which ones are making us a lot of profit, which ones aren't making us profit, and adjusting them accordingly. So let's first take a look at some of our more recent passenger lines and see the kind of people they're bringing in already. So this route's already very popular, and I think we might have to add a few more trains to this line, as it looks like almost every one of these has a few hundred people waiting. So we're just going to come in, and I believe I remember what these trains were. Yeah, so we're going to get probably 2 or 3 more of these trains, and that should help to ease up a lot of the traffic. So it's one of these engines with 3 of these. Let's get 3 of those, throw them on that line. Alright, so now that we've done that, these stations should start to clear out more. We added 3 new ones, so hopefully the increased frequency will help ease a lot of this passenger traffic here. And so we'll leave our passenger trains alone for now, even though some of them definitely need work. We'll get to those later in this video. I want to revisit this goods factory, as we still haven't sort of balanced out our steel and plastics issue. So coming down here, we're still not getting enough coal. So we're just gonna have to come in. I think we just replace these trains. That's probably sort of the best way to go about it. I think I guess we only have 1 train still on this coal line. Well, we're definitely going to want to replace that with... Actually, let's just sell it. We'll sell that. Take a look at some of our newer, more powerful locomotives, such as this Russian Class FD. I like the look of it, so we'll go with that. And I believe we might have some updated gondolas. We have these. Those are still a little old. But here we can get a much larger train carrying a lot more coal. Let's do 1 more. Actually, there we go. We'll do that. And we'll send it out on this line. So this train is much bigger, and it should be able to sort of help ease that demand, as I don't think the last train we had could carry quite as much as this one does. So we'll be sure to come back to this and just make sure it's carrying enough. And so let's revisit another old line that we worked on in a previous episode. Let's check our fuel refinery here. So it still looks like it could be producing more fuel. One thing we want to note is that the Clearwater fuel line could definitely still use more trucks. I want to make sure that wherever we're dropping this off is still getting all of the fuel. It looks like it might not be anymore. So we might have to have two separate lines bringing in fuel for Clearwater. I think where we have it should get most of it, so I don't understand why this number is so low. We probably just need more trucks on the line. So if we can find a road depot somewhere. I think we have one somewhere around here. Here it is. We can get some of the newer trucks. Yeah, some of these. Get maybe 6. Let's get 8. 8 of those and put it on the Clearwater fuel line. Or what we might want to do is replace the entire Clearwater fuel if we can find a vehicle that's on that line. Here we go. We manage the vehicles and replace them all with these new tank trucks. That should allow them to go up this hill much better, as some of these are still struggling to go up. But hopefully I'll start to ease that issue. However, we still need to sort out the issue of getting more fuel in here. It appears we've backed up this station a little bit. We need to let these trucks start to filter through. And then another line I think we're going to replace is going to be this oil line that brings up all of the oil. I just want to make sure. I think we have 2 of these. Actually, I think it's just one line that runs from here. So if we go to manage, replace all those, we should start to see this function better. And same thing here if we replace these all with these new trucks. And these new trucks can carry significantly more and at a much faster speed. So replacing as much of these as we can will greatly help with the fuel plant up here. And then same thing with this line. This one hasn't been touched in a long while. We should start to see these numbers go up very quick. So hopefully I'll start to increase the numbers we get on these train lines, as a lot of these trains have only been running half full, as we can see here, and just barely not able to make enough money to get us a profit. So hopefully that'll sort of work itself out. I think if we go into our line statistics here, we can start to sort and see which lines aren't really making us money. And we can start to come in here and diagnose these issues. And you can see the majority of these lines are making us loads of money. But some of these are also a big sort of money sink. So let's look at this line real quick. The Lexington to Cedar Rapids line. Something about it's just not operating at full capacity. I think I'm not too sure what the issues are. However, it might have something to do with this bus line between Lexington and Tucson competing with our own train line that goes between those two. So if we take a look here at this line, this one's also not making us money. So what we might want to do is just get rid of this line altogether. That way, we can force people to use the train instead of the bus route. And then, hopefully, this line will start to make us some more money. So hopefully we'll start to see the demand start to increase here, as we could probably add another stop. And then just manage this line. Add a station there. And maybe throw on 2 more buses. There we go. So just getting more people to use this train line should have more beneficial effects there. Here at Lexington, these numbers aren't too great. And I think we might just need more buses going around. So I think it's time we also sort of revamp this whole bus loop. So we'll find this line, manage line, add that station there, go here, and add this station here. And in order to make this a little bit easier, we can just connect this up to this big road there. And then while we're here, we can replace all these vehicles with much nicer, much quicker new buses. Everything else in Lexington seems to be operating pretty well. And so let's take a look at another line that we have that's maybe not doing the best. Whichever one this one is. Yes, this is our big passenger line here. Now, I'm not sure why this one's not doing too well, as it's got tons of people waiting almost at every station. But I suppose at some of these, there's not too much of a demand. I do think, however, our issue comes with the trains that we have. These electric trains are very expensive. If we come in here and look at how much this one costs about $2 million a year, which is probably one of the most expensive to maintain trains that we have on here, except for this 412-2. And maybe some of the really newer ones that we have. So I think what we could do is go back and use maybe the A-Class A4 on these, as these are much faster now, and they can sort of handle a hill, not too well, but they'll run for much cheaper than the previous train. This one runs at almost about half the cost. So we'll do that. And we're just going to take a look at one of these and make sure that it can reach its top speed before it goes between each stop. I do worry about it going up some of these hills, especially from Akron to Garden Grove, as that's a fairly steep incline. So it most certainly reaches 90 miles an hour going down that hill. Our biggest concern is if it can reach it going up that hill. It does take a while for people to get on and off the train. I don't think there's much we can do about that. So now we're just gonna have to watch and hope that it doesn't get too bogged down going up this hill. However, I think the rest of the line is pretty flat, so this is probably the only trouble area. Yeah, it looks like it does only get up to about 53, 52 miles an hour going up that hill. But hopefully that's just that one spot. We'll come back and see if this is still losing us money, and if it is, we'll have to figure something out. Now we're coming back to the steel mill here. It still looks like we're running out of coal. I don't remember what this iron number was before, but one way we can check is look at this, and it looks like it has finally started to carry full loads of steel. If we look, it looks like recently it has carried full loads of steel. And we have over 200 steel waiting here. So, lucky for us, that means we can probably add a second train. Or we can just simply make this train much bigger, much more powerful. And I think we'll go for the latter of those options. As this Russian class FD seems like a really nice choice. And we can get one of the newer flat cars and just get a ton of capacity on that. And this train looks like it can handle just about anything, and it runs for very cheap. So we'll do this, and now it can carry a ton more steel. And hopefully very quickly we'll be able to see the kind of profit we can get from it. Alright, so here it comes into the station, and we should be able to see how much we'll get. So that one load there seems to be a considerable improvement compared to what it was making before. So even though that line maybe was making us a profit before, it's making us much more of a profit now. And hopefully that means this factory will be a little bit more balanced out, and we'll start to be able to get this plastics number down. However, we can't always just work on one leg. This is obviously going to have increased production on this train line, so we need to make sure that this line is able to cope with that. Or where's our goods train? This line. And this train might also need to be upgraded. So let's just go in here. And I think we'll just do the same thing. This train is really nice for its price. It does cost about twice as much in terms of running costs, but the new profits we should be getting from it should greatly make up for that fact. So we'll get some of these box cars. Let's get 6. Actually, let's sort of future-proof ourselves. Let's get that many. And then we can go find this train. And we can see how good it's doing. It probably won't be able to carry a full load of goods soon, but it should slowly be able to work its way up there. I mean, we already have about 100 goods waiting here. We'll come back up and check on that later, just make sure everything's working. And then probably one of the last lines I want to work on in this episode is this passenger line here. Just sort of clicking all of these, we can already see that we have tons of people waiting, especially here in Akron. We have almost 1,000 people all crammed on this very tiny platform. And these trains are massively profitable because of that. So what we're going to want to do is probably replace these with some kind of train that's really quick, but also won't break the bank when it comes to running costs. Because we also need it to be powerful. So we're sort of asking for a bit of everything. So I'm just coming through here and taking a look at what we've got. So I think, well, yeah, I think we're just gonna keep rolling with these Class A4s. They seem to be doing just fine. We haven't had any issues with them yet. So we'll add some of these cars behind it. We'll go with 4 for now. And then I just want to make sure it's able to go from Green Bay all the way up to Akron without being terribly slow. Because the rest of this line is very flat and not much we have to worry about. But the sort of trip up there. However, this one looks like it's able to get up to max speed just fine. Well, that's great news for us, because that means we can probably get, I'll say 2 more for now. 2 more of these trains on that line. Alright, so if we come through and take another look at our lines, we can see a lot of them have sort of fixed themselves, and we have very few lines that are losing us money, let alone losing us a lot of money. So we can see some of the lines that are making the most money, which happen to be a lot of our passenger lines. All of those are running at full capacity. And it looks like a lot of our other upgrades have really started to help us out. Maybe some of these fuel upgrades are slowly starting to trickle down to these trains. This, I'm not sure what's going on here. We might just simply have to take one of these trains off the line. Which, actually, I think we'll do that real quick. I don't think we need 3 of these on there. And I think what we can replace them with, because that line is very flat between those, we can use this Zephyr train and replace those. And we can operate at a running cost that's much less and goes much quicker between stations. So we'll see what sort of hit we get from that. But already we're just down to 4 or 5 lines that are losing us money. But we'll continue to look at these in the next episode, as that'll be all for now. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any feedback or suggestions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.